All right, let's take a trip back in time. And I don't just mean to a different year. We're talking about a completely different world, a world that was just starting to hear these faint, kind of scratchy sounds of the future dialing in. We're going to 1985. So, have you ever thought about this? What was the internet like before the internet even existed? It's a weird question, right? I mean, before web browsers, before Wi-Fi, before this thing in your pocket held all of human knowledge, how in the world did people connect with each other through computers? What did that first digital frontier actually feel like? Okay, let's do it. We're diving back into a year filled with big hair, amazing synth-pop music, and, underneath it all, the very first whispers of the online world we live in today. This was a time when the seeds of our connected age were being planted, literally one dial-up modem at a time. All right, so our story officially kicks off here in 1985. And to really get a grip on the huge technological jump that was about to happen, we got to first soak in what the world was actually like back then. And this was basically the soundtrack of the year. You know, Norway was really having a moment on the world stage. You had Bobby Sox winning Eurovision, Aha's Take On Me with that incredible video was topping the charts in the US. There was this real feeling of national pride and optimism in the air. It was honestly the perfect backdrop for some crazy new ideas to take hold. So what was daily life really like? Well, before we were all connected 24/7, the world just operated on a totally different rhythm. It was a reality built on things like paper, landline phones, and a whole lot of patience. I mean, just think about it. The number of steps you had to take just for a simple conversation is kind of mind-blowing. Your pager would go off, right? And all you'd get is a phone number. That's it. So then you had to physically go find a payphone or get to a landline just to call back. Now compare that to today with instant texts, video calls, location sharing. It's not even the same ballpark. It's a whole different universe. And this stuff really paints a picture, doesn't it? Just imagine running a marathon and your friends and family have no live tracking act to see where you are. Or get this, smoking was still allowed on airplanes. In the back, but still. If you wanted tech news, you had to wait for a print magazine to show up once a month. And starting a company? It cost about the same as buying a brand new car. Just a massive investment. But right in the middle of this very analog world, something digital was brewing. The personal computer, the PC, was no longer just a toy for nerds and hobbyists. Nope, it was storming into the workplace. And it brought with it this totally radical new idea. What if these machines could connect? And here's the crucial bit. For the very first time, computers in the same office could actually talk to each other. Now, this wasn't some kind of Wi-Fi magic, not at all. This was the result of pure hard work, with people literally crawling around under desks, physically laying down the cables that would connect all these machines into a network. And once you have that connection, boom, an absolute explosion of new software hits the scene. Suddenly, your PC could do serious word processing, handle these complicated spreadsheets, manage databases, you name it. These weren't just simple programs. They were powerful tools that were about to change how work got done forever. And this quote right here, it just perfectly captures that excitement, that buzz. For the early adopters, this stuff wasn't just a job. It was a true passion. You had people reading user manuals like they were thrilling novels because they could just see the unbelievable potential in this new wave of tech. Okay, so connecting computers in the same room, that was amazing, for sure. But what if you could connect your computer to another one, hundreds of miles away, just by using a regular old telephone line? That was the real game changer. And that brings us to the Bulletin Board System, or BBS. The easiest way to think about it is like a digital community clubhouse. It's basically the great-great-grandfather of every online forum, every Reddit thread, every Facebook group we use today. You dial in with your computer, and just like that, you were part of a conversation with people you'd never met. But, oh yeah, there was a catch. A big one. The speed. We're talking 300 bits per second. To give you some perspective, your home internet right now is probably something like 300 million bits per second. So at 300 bps, you could literally watch each letter of a sentence appear on the screen, one by one. It took an incredible amount of patience. Yeah, getting online wasn't just a click of a button. It was a whole ritual. First, you fire up the software. Then you tell your modem what number to dial. And then you listen to that classic sound, that screeching, static-filled handshake between the two modems. You just sit there, crossing your fingers, hoping the connection would hold. When that welcome screen finally popped up, man, it felt like a major victory.
It's so easy to get caught up in the tech, though, and forget the most important part of the story. None of this happened in a vacuum. This whole revolution, it was powered by actual people.
If you look at places like the Computer College in Norway, it was this small, passionate group of individuals. You had the mentors, pushing the academic side of things, you had the installers, the ones doing the tough physical work, and then you had people like the school's CIO, who was basically the heart and soul of the whole operation, the glue holding it all together.
And this story about Oddvar Benson, it's just fantastic. It tells you everything you need to know. He was so dedicated, so much the core of that school, that if you called late at night, he'd be the one to answer, and he'd just tell you he was the janitor. It's a perfect reminder that this tech revolution wasn't some cold corporate thing. It was built by people with real passion and a genuine sense of community.
So you see how all of these different threads are starting to weave together? You've got the cultural optimism, the clunky old tech, the boom of the personal computer, and the sheer passion of these pioneers. It was all converging, and for some people, it led to this massive aha moment. For one of those early adopters we mentioned, Morten Flate Paulsen, getting one of those painfully slow modems for Christmas in 1985, well, it turned out to be more than just a fun new toy. It was the key that unlocked a complete vision of what the future could be. And this is it. This is the moment. As he's staring at text loading character by character from some distant computer, he gets it. He sees the true potential. He realized this technology could completely smash physical barriers, that you could teach people and learn from people across huge distances without ever being in the same room. In that one moment, the entire future of distance education just clicked into place for him. And that kind of leaves us with one last big question, doesn't it? Back in 1985, the pioneers saw the future in a screeching modem and text that loaded at a snail's pace. So let me ask you, what are the quiet, kind of clunky, maybe even overlooked technologies of today that are going to completely define our world 40 years from now? What's our 300 baud modem?